Hello everyone. This week we come back to new moon time and a fresh new beginning that will give you a chance to indulge the clever and inquisitive thinker that is within you. This is the Gemini New Moon. It takes place on the 14th or 15th of June, and it's bringing fresh energy to an area of your chart where you are good at thinking and communicating and connecting. Gemini is the sign of the twins, or brothers or siblings, and it's curious and quick-witted and full of ideas and jokes. So wherever this new moon falls for you, expect some new conversations, messages, new information, and some mental stimulus. The new moon in Gemini brings opportunity to start something new to do with how you think, how you speak, and how you learn. That is the Gemini energy, and we will go into that. Firstly, I'm going to go through the transits of the week one by one so that you know what kind of energy is going to affect you day by day. So hello everybody and welcome to this video. My name is Fiona of Sun and Moon Calendar. I am based in New Zealand, Aotearoa, but this astrology is for the whole world because these transits and the new moon and everything affects us everywhere. I've been studying astrology for 10 years. I'm still a beginner. That's the nature of astrology. It is so deep. You could study it for lifetimes and still be learning about it. And there's so many areas to study as well. But I like looking at the transits that are going on and noticing how they feel to us. And one of the most important aspects or transits that we experience is the new moon and the lunar cycle, the waxing and the waning of the moon. It helps me to plan my life. It helps me to know when to start things and when to be finishing things off. So we'll talk about that a little bit later after the transits. You can jump ahead to any part of the video using the timestamps, and you can jump straight ahead to your sign if you want, though it might be helpful to get the explanation. I am sitting at the kitchen table. It's Friday night. Every so often I wobble the table, so I apologize. I'm going away this weekend, so I'm recording now, and I am quite tired. It's cold and it's raining outside. It's nearly midwinter, of course, as we come up to solstice. And I'm quite tired because I have been working in my normal jobs, my day jobs, and also I've been making next year's calendar. So I make calendars. This is the New Zealand calendar using lunar months and lots of information. And there is the Australian calendar. And one day I hope to do one for the rest of the world, or more than one. This is a big experiment in entrepreneurship and small business, and it's a very new thing for me, even though I've done it for a few years now, but I haven't made any money yet. I can't give up my day job yet. But I mention this because Gemini is about small business, and many of you may have side hustles or be seeking ways to earn passive income. That's what I'm working on by doing something that I love to do and I think is important for the world. And I'm sure many of you have that kind of thing going on. Many of you might be using social media as part of your small business, and all of that is to do with Gemini. So that's why I'm mentioning it. So we've got some kind of new start coming up with that Gemini new moon that could affect us with our small businesses. So the last video I did that came out around about a week ago was about Chiron very shortly moving into the sign of Taurus. So you can go back to that video. It's still very valid because Chiron is moving in later in June and it will be in Taurus for 7 years or so. Okay. We are coming to the end of the lunar month of Taurus. This is a page from the New Zealand calendar, okay? And just showing the grid part, we are in the last week. The moon is waning, and that's why this video, the main topic is about the new moon in Gemini, which comes next. But looking at the transits of this week, here's an overview. Not heaps going on. Not like the following week, there'll be tons then. So on Sunday the 8th, Sunday the 7th, Monday the 8th, it's the last quarter moon. So the moon will appear as a half moon in the sky. Tuesday the 9th, Wednesday the 10th, we have Venus conjunct Jupiter, Mercury square Saturn. Lovely, that Venus conjunct Jupiter. And then on Friday the 12th or Saturday the 13th, Venus is moving into Leo. Okay, so the last quarter moon, the moon is waning, it's getting smaller in the sky. We've come from that full moon in Sagittarius, and now the moon's getting smaller. That last quarter moon will drive you forward with your to-do list and encourage you to get things finished that you need to finish before the moon completely disappears with the dark moon. Okay, next, Venus conjunct Jupiter. This is perhaps the most lovely aspect of the year. Jupiter is the great benefic. It is exalted in the sign of Cancer. And Venus is a benefic as well, the other benefic. They're coming together. And with their conjunction, there should be some very lovely, happy, and connecting vibes with feelings of peace and harmony and pleasure. And it also represents a new start for something that could unfold over the following year. So that is quite lovely. And notice just the vibe on that day and what you're doing. And if there's anything to begin on that day, that could have some good blessings. So what I wrote in the calendar about that, Venus conjunct Jupiter, expansion of blessings in relationships, wealth, and pleasure and resources. And the next aspect that happens, it's on the same day, but it's a lot of hours later, so it shouldn't affect that lovely conjunction too much. That is Mercury square Saturn. It's not as easy. Mercury, as we'll be talking about later, is about communication and connecting and thinking. And Saturn puts restrictions and boundaries on things. So we could feel like communication is blocked and there's a requirement to be sensible and restricted in some ways. Saturn requires us to be in order and sensible. And then we have Venus moving into Leo, and that will be for most of a month. And in Leo, Venus will be more showy. So when we are dressed up, we will have more sparkles on and colors, bigger hair, bigger earrings, longer eyelashes. And in love, we might be more performative in love, so fancier dates, more of a show when we are doing expressions of love or romance or connecting with others. That's okay. It can be a little bit performative, but there can be a lot of fun with that as well. So that's it for this week's transits. Not many, but next week has so many. So many. I'm not going to talk about them now, but I am going to say there the new moon in Gemini happens on Sunday the 14th or Monday the 15th of June, depending on where you are in the world. And that is the topic of the video now. But first, here is this week's quiz question. So you might see a quiz below my screen that YouTube can produce, or you can answer in the comments. Which transit this week will be great for a special romantic date? A, last quarter moon. B, Venus conjunct Jupiter. C, Mercury square Saturn. Or D, Venus in Leo. All right, upcoming events. Yes, the 14th or the 15th of June, the new moon in Gemini, which I'm about to talk about. And on the 19th, 20th, and 21st, we have Chiron moving into Taurus, Uranus square the lunar nodes. I'm going to talk about that in the next video. The Sun into Cancer, the solstice. And then at the end of June, we have Mercury going retrograde. Hello, I'm just editing this clip in. I want to remind you that in the comments there is a special question about the new moon in the sign of Gemini, and the people who reply to that go in the draw to win a 5-minute reading of their chart as part of a future video. So it would be public, so you'd have to be comfortable with that, but I won't share any birth details. So reply to the comments that I've got in the comments about the question. A question about the new moon in the sign of Gemini, and go in the draw to win that opportunity. I don't have one for this video because the people who I've let know that they won actually haven't emailed me yet with their birth details. So if I do message you and say you got it, make sure you do email me. I will give you my email address. Anyway, here we go again with the video. And now we're going to talk about the new moon in Gemini that's coming up on the 14th or 15th of June, depending on where you live in the world. If you are in the USA, like LA, New York, that will be on Sunday, the 14th of June. In London, in Australia, and in New Zealand, it's on the 15th of June, on the Monday. So, what is the new moon? That is when the sun and the moon are at exactly the same degree. They come together. And the moon is invisible because it's outshone completely by the sun. The sun is so bright. And where they come together this time is at 24 degrees and 2 minutes of Gemini. So it's a dark time. We don't see the moon at all at night, not the first half of the night, not the second half of the night. And it's a pause. It's the beginning of a new cycle, a 29 and a half day cycle of that lunar month. And over that time, the moon is all dark, it's with the sun, and then as it separates from the sun, we start to see it again. Then we see the half moon. It's waning, it's getting bigger and bigger, and it gets even bigger until it's the full moon, it's opposite the sun. And then as it comes back towards the sun again, it wanes, it gets smaller. And that is the lunar month until we have another new moon when the moon and the sun are together. The next one will be in Cancer. And that cycle of the sun and the moon, it guides so much of our life. It's that almost that pulse, the breath of life, that lunar month. The day is one of the breathing patterns of life, but the lunar month is another breathing pattern, a longer, slower one, and then a year, an even longer, slower one. And we start things and we finish things. Okay, but what to do at the new moon? When it's the dark moon time, rest and retreat, take some quiet time. Of course, you can't stop doing everything in life. Like, you still got to do your duties and your tasks and go to work and feed the family and everything. But if you can have some quiet time, some time out, and if you're just about to start something new and it's the dark moon, wait a little bit. Or if it's just coming up to new moon, like over the next week, you might want to start something new with a Venus conjunct Jupiter. But as it gets closer and closer to that new moon time, just wait a few days. So, and in fact, wait until the crescent moon appears if you can. So that will be a couple of days after the new moon is exact. And if you look over, if you get a view of the west, which we don't by our place, but lots of other places do, of course, if you have a view of the west at sunset, and then the sun goes down and it's just getting dusky and dark, and at that point, a couple of days after the new moon, you will see that beautiful, beautiful crescent in the sky. It's one of the most lovely things in life when you see that, I think. And that is the moon with its manifesting power showing herself to us again, because it's moved away from the sun. And it's a good sign that it's time to get into your new projects of the lunar month, or to start that next step on the more longer term projects. The energy will build again, and the seeds that you plant at that time will grow as the moon waxes. Like, there's more energy to support the growth of these new things with the moon waxing. And this new moon is in Gemini, so that's a busy sign, it's a mutable sign, it's air, so it's intellect and thinking, and there's lots of speed with Gemini, because there's nothing like water, it slows you down. Earth, it just stops you. Fire is fast and air is fast, and Gemini is an air sign, and it's mutable. It goes this way, it goes that way. It's very curious. So what I've said there, Gemini is about communication, networking, ideas and thinking, trade and exchange, that's the small business thing that I mentioned before, neighbors and siblings. Okay, it's ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication, the planet of planning and thinking and analysis, actually, logic and chat and humor and making jokes and flirtation, even, I would say. So Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, and therefore Mercury is the ruler of this new moon. So the new moon in Gemini gives us a chance for a new beginning in how we think and speak and talk and connect with our neighborhoods and learn and explore different viewpoints and ideas. Gemini really likes to hear from everyone and hear their different viewpoints. There's a great curiosity and a love of learning with Gemini and appreciation of the intellect. Sometimes in our modern life, we are just so in our left brain and our mind, our head all the time, and then we can discount that. We can say, oh, it's really bad to be thinking all the time. We need to feel things more. And yes, that's true. We do. We're too much in that left brain. But also, I think we can really appreciate and celebrate what our minds can do and that joy of learning and the joy of the intellect and intellectual pursuits and curiosity and the love of learning. It's really cool. So I'm going to read out these: a new beginning in how we think, speak, learn, and connect. Embrace curiosity and learning. There's a mental energy, there's restlessness and lots of new ideas, the desire to reach out and ask questions and talk to people and find out what they think, what they're doing, what they're learning, exploring different viewpoints. And it's a good time to begin a course of study or start a journal or join a local class or talk to a neighbor. And at the bottom there, I've said, enjoy your mind and all that it can do. Okay, so let's look at the chart of this new moon and what's going on with some of the other planets there. So there it is, and you can see at the bottom there, the sun and moon joined together at 24 degrees and 2 minutes of Gemini. So that there is the sign of Gemini. It looks like two twins. I'm going to pause because I have just put a log on the fire and I need to check that I've closed the door properly. Okay, I'm back. I think this is one of the coldest nights of winter. I'm really glad I've got a fire. Okay, so an aspect that the moon and sun are making is a sextile, fairly loose, a fairly wide sextile to Chiron, and that's interesting. You can see Chiron there right at the last 29 degrees 48 of Aries, just about to move into Taurus. So with the new moon in Gemini, sextile to Chiron, there could be an opportunity for talking about healing or talking about some old wounds that have been affecting you while Chiron has been in the sign of Aries. You can go back to last week's video to learn more about that. And there's a ruler of the new moon. So the ruler of the moon is Mercury. Okay, and it's placed in the sign of Cancer at the time of the new moon, and that might mean that some of that talking and connecting that we're going to be doing might be in home places to do with home or family of origin. It also could mean that we're talking about emotions. So there are a few more minor aspects going on there, well, normal aspects going on there, but I would say the biggest thing about this new moon to think about perhaps is how it's placed with some really big outer planet stuff going on. Okay, so I've been talking a lot in my videos over the last year or so about the mini grand trine that's forming. So I'll talk about it here. We've got Pluto. Actually, I'll jump ahead to the image I've got of it. So there's Pluto in the early degrees of Aquarius, very slow moving, 240 years. sextile to Neptune, which takes 165 years to go around. So this sextile is playing out, has been forming over the last decades, but it's coming exact in the next couple of years. And then there's Uranus, which takes 84 years to move around the zodiac wheel. And see how they're all at these very early degrees. Uranus has just moved into Gemini, and it's in a trine to Pluto. It's making this little mini grand trine, these outer planets, and this hasn't been seen for thousands of years. And some of these aspects become exact over the next month or so, and this year. Okay, so this year is the strongest year of this mini grand trine being formed. It was also forming last year, and then it will continue next year, but this year is the strongest, and the second half of the year especially. Though, mind you, having said that, we had the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in February, which was a really, really big deal and really strengthened it. So there's lots going on in late June and July to do with this. As well as that, the other big stuff is Chiron, which takes 50 years to go around the zodiac, just about to move into Taurus. And an aspect that I'm going to talk about in next week's video, that is slow-moving Uranus, the interrupter, disruptor, awakener in a square, a T-square with the lunar node. So there's going to be something fated, some kind of fated disruption coming along. I'll talk more about that in next week's video, but I feel this new moon, we get a Gemini new moon once a year, but not with these really, really big things happening. And a lot of that intensifies over the next month or two. So that's what I wanted to say the most about this new moon in Gemini and the chart of the new moon. We might not notice that bigger stuff on a daily basis or a monthly basis, but these are big stories playing out in our lives, big stories, incredible change for the world, fundamental change for the world, but also fundamental changes and big quests and adventures and new beginnings and just change for our lives that we maybe never could have predicted. That's unfolding. I'm sure for many of you that is really unfolding. Stuff that's just really big stories. Yeah. Okay, so now how will that be affecting you personally? Here is the sign by sign breakdown. So that new moon in the sign of Gemini, it's in Gemini, but Gemini lies in a different house for every person, according to their ascendant sign. So the ascendant sign or the rising sign is the sign that was coming up on the horizon at the moment that you were born. And because it's that placement on the horizon, it sets out the design of your whole life, the zodiac wheel for your life. So from that first house you look, so say if you were sitting on that horizon, or you're sitting here looking at the horizon, which is the sign coming up when you were born, and if you look up to the sky straight above, that represents your career area. And to the other side, to the west, that represents your relationship, because the rising sign looks across at your significant other or your business partner or people that you work with on a one-to-one basis. And going down below, down into the earth, to the other side of the world, whatever is down there, that is your foundation, your roots, your family of origin, your emotional stability and foundation. So the rising sign is really important because it sets up that life and those parts of your life. But the sun is really important too, because it is your soul and how you shine in the world, your vitality and your self-expression that starts from your heart. It is your creative spark. But the rising sign works better when you listen to these videos, because it tells you what part of life is going to be affected by the new moon. I hope that's a helpful explanation. Somebody was asking about it in the comments of the last video, so I thought I'd try and explain more. I know you can't pick it up in one go, in my opinion, this kind of things. But I'll try and explain a little bit from time to time. So if you know your rising sign, you can find the house that holds Gemini in your chart, and you can listen in the sign by sign breakdown for your rising sign. But you can listen for your sun as well, which is more about your outward expression in the world, your creative expression, and how you shine in the world and what you're known for in your world, in the world. Okay, a little bit more career orientated for your sun. So whatever part of your life that Gemini lies in, there's a fresh new cycle beginning. And there'll be new ideas, new conversations, new information, and perhaps new, especially neighborly or with your relations, your extended family connections that could be seeded or begun. And so now I'm going to start from the sign of Gemini. If you are Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Gemini Rising, on the 14th or 15th of June, there is a new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini. It's your first house, Gemini. This is a yearly reset. It's a new beginning for you. It's all about you. The sun and the moon are there with all their manifesting power. The world is looking at you, and you are looking out at your life and thinking, what do I want in my life? How do I begin? What do I want to begin? Who am I? The first house is about your identity, the part that you're playing in the world, how other people see you, and it brings in every aspect of life. So it brings in your career, it brings in your family of origin, it brings in your work, your friendships, relationships, every aspect of life is affected by you and how you are shining out in the world. In Gemini, we need to celebrate you with this new moon because you are the ones that have that wonderful, quick-witted, communicative, and friendly, chatty energy, full of curiosity and really good at connecting people as well. Okay, so what have I got there? Identity, self, your appearance, actually. So there could be some new beginning for your body and your appearance, a fresh personal beginning. Okay, so you are the focus. It's a new chapter in terms of how you show up and present yourself to the world. So that could be in the outer appearance, but it could be something within that begins for you. It's a chance, great chance, to launch a new project, to refresh your image, and to speak up. Okay, so that's great, Gemini. All the best for that. And please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Cancer Rising, on the 14th or 15th of June, there is a new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini. Cancer, that is happening in your 12th house. This is a secret house. This is a place, these are the parts of your life where you are more hidden from the world, whether you are in retreat or resting or exploring your inner world. It can also be places that are kind of hidden from the world, like your involvements with hospitals or care homes, prisons even, out of the way places, retreat centers, okay? The 12th house is the house of timeouts and withdrawal, okay? So it's a good time to journal, to meditate, to be letting your mind wander freely and going to out of the way places. It is also a chance to look at unhealthy behavior patterns, unhealthy escapist tendencies, or it's known as a house of your self undoing. So, where have you been causing problems for yourself? And this could be not even your fault, it could be the result of karmic patterns that have come from your deep past, your childhood, or even past lives, okay? And if you do allow yourself a time out for retreat when you have 12th house activations, and this new moon is one such activation, it's a chance to look at those and explore them and try to overcome some of the unhealthy beliefs or patterns that are going on. And one of those unhealthy patterns can be too much escapism, too much addiction, too much avoidance, okay? So You're looking at changing things from the inside out, looking within with this 12th house work. But also, there could be something like more in the outer world where there is a new beginning or a new project that's got to do with, or a new connection or a new relationship where you're talking with somebody more or connecting with somebody in a 12th house place, like a hospital, prison, care home, hospice, um, these quiet places that are not really in the world as much. So, all the best for that, Cancer, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. But I am going to add next month, you've got the new moon in your sign. You've got Jupiter and Venus this coming week, just before the new moon, making that lovely, lovely conjunction in your house. Wow, blessings for you, Cancer. So, all the best. If you are Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Leo Rising, on the 14th or 15th of June, there is a new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini. That is your 11th house. Leo, you like to shine in the world and be out there and be there, be seen. And the 11th house is good for that because it's about friendship groups, networks of people, organizations of people that you belong to, and you are seen in the 11th house, and you're quite comfortable with that, Leo. That is good for you. And you're also really good in these kind of groups at talking and chatting and connecting people, and you can be witty there as well. So there could be a new start for something involving a new group of people, or a new beginning, a new project that you're working on with a group of people. Okay. Now, the 11th house can also be about your long-term goals, and you might find that there is a new beginning, perhaps a new stage that you're working on in some long-term goal that you've got, or a new goal that forms as a result of this Gemini new moon. And if you're working to develop that, then talking about it with somebody could be helpful. Okay, the 11th house can also be about rewards from your work, and once again, any talking, chatting, connecting, thinking can be really good to be doing to help move some of these things and make them work well. So I'm just going to read out what I've got there: friends and groups, networks, hopes and wishes for your future, a fresh energy in social circles and communities. You could join a group, you could reconnect with friends, you could network, new goals and visions for the future, and collaborations and group projects get a little bit of a spark. So all the best for that, Leo, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Virgo Rising, on the 14th or 15th of June, there is a new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini, and this is a big one for you, Virgo, because it's your 10th house of your career that is on an angle. It's an important house. So there's some kind of new beginning or a new phase of a project that could develop with this new moon. And where you are developing a new project or a new phase of a project, doing lots of talking about it and connecting with others and collaboration and getting others' ideas about it and being curious about what they think and how they see it could be really helpful for you to do. This is also a house of your public reputation. So it is your career, but also about how you're known in the world and what you're known for. So how are you known? Perhaps you could talk to people about that, and perhaps the new moon could bring a new beginning with something like a role that you're playing where you are receiving public recognition. Okay, so what is written there? Your career, your public life, your reputation, and your vocation could have a fresh start with this new moon. There could be a fresh start in your work, your purpose, and I'll go into that a little bit more, because your career isn't just about your job. It is about your vocation, but it's also about the legacy that you want to leave behind. So there could be some new beginning with your understanding of the legacy or your self-understanding of what kind of legacy you want to leave behind. So also new projects, new pitches, job applications. Communicate your skills and your ideas to the world. And I will mention also, Virgo, that Mercury is the ruler of this new moon, and Mercury is also your ruler, and it's currently in your 11th house of career gains and um, the networks and organizations that you belong to. So it's a good idea to be talking to all of these networks and groups of people that you're connected with in your career space about things, okay? Say what you want clearly, ask for what you need. It's a great communication time, Virgo. So all the best for that, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Libra Rising, on the 14th or 15th of June, there is a new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini. Libra, this is your 9th house, and that is a lucky house. It's a great house to be doing lots of talking and to be curious about things. And you're great at talking, Libra. You're a social butterfly yourself, like the Gemini people. So the 9th house is about travel. It's about your understanding of the meaning of life, which you could gain or you could explore through spiritual practices, through religions or religious teachings, or through philosophy and exploring different philosophies of life and the meaning of life. The 9th house is about how we seek meaning in the world, and if you listened to the full moon video about Sagittarius recently, Sagittarius has that energy as well. So I was talking about that. But for you, Libra, it is Gemini, your 9th house, and you've got a lot of curiosity there. And with this new moon, there's some kind of fresh new start to your beliefs and your belief system about how the world is and the meaning of the world and life. And also travel, and this is more like distant travel, like foreign travel. So some kind of new beginning there for travel. This can also be about higher learning, like university learning, and you may begin a new learning project or research project or something, or a new course of study even with this. Okay, so what have I got here? Travel, study, philosophy, broadening your horizons, a new chapter in learning, beliefs, or adventure, because this can include adventures and adventure travel as well. So you might plan a trip, enroll in a course, or read widely. You could have connections with people from far distant places, including people from other cultures that are quite different from your own, and you are likely to be quite curious about their way of life and want to learn about it. Publishing, and it's a great chance to open your mind to fresh perspectives. So all the best for that, Libra, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Scorpio Rising, on the 14th or 15th of June, there is a new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini in your 8th house. The 8th house is a house of shared resources with others. It can be also a house of large amounts of money that you don't necessarily have ready access to, like, for example, inheritances, retirement savings, things like that, but definitely shared resources with a partner or a business partner. It's also a house of psychological depths and transformation through exploring and learning about and understanding and going through some hard times with some of those psychological depths, and deep intimacy where you are sharing your deepest self with another. Okay, so there's a fresh new start in this 8th house, and this could be something to do with you and your partner's shared money or your partner's money. So even it could be just your partner's money, whether that is a business partner or a life partner. There might be a new way that you're exploring your own psychological layers, for example, starting some kind of therapy or counseling. So, what have I got here? I'm going to read it. New matters of money, debt, shared finances, deeper connections. This is the intimacy side. How deeply can you go with a partner or with others that you're in some kind of partnership? Can you share your deep vulnerabilities, your deepest desires and fears? Honest exchanges with that. And also, the eighth house can be quite investigative, like going into deep research, wanting to find what is behind things that are in the obvious surface, what is underneath, following the money and doing detective work in a way, and definitely psychological insight. So some new beginning in any or all of these, Scorpio, and I wish you the best with it. And please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Sagittarius, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Sagittarius Rising, on the 14th or 15th of June, there is a new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini in your 7th house of partnership. So the 7th house is about any kind of relationship that you have where you're working or talking, especially as it's Gemini, lots of talking, with a partner, with somebody else in a one-to-one way. So there is some new beginning in some kind of partnership for you. This could especially be a marriage partner or a business partner. Sorry if I have repeated myself. I realized I put the mic in the wrong place and I had to check that you could still hear me. So it might be louder now because I've just put the mic back. Anyway, okay. Right. So a new beginning for your relationship, or a new relationship itself, or a new way to do relationship, or a new way of seeing relationship. And it could be really helpful as you go through this, or as you start something new, to be doing lots of talking, find out the other person's viewpoint, try and understand, be curious, and enjoy the chat. Some of that exploration, it doesn't have to be really deep and heavy. It could be light-hearted, but you're still learning about each other. Okay, so a new chapter in a key relationship, conversations about where things are at with your relationship, beginning a partnership, whether that is business or personal, and thinking about, talking about, exploring, learning about what you need from others, what they need from you, and working towards expressing that clearly. Listening is good. Sagittarius, you can be a little bit opinionated at times. And you're awesome with that, because we need discerning people in the world, and we need people to have your fiery enthusiasm about things, but make sure you listen to your partner as well as telling them what you think. So all the best for that, Sagittarius, and please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Capricorn Rising, on the 14th or 15th of June, there is a new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini. That is in your 6th house, and that is your house of your daily work, how you give service in the world, and your life admin, especially how you schedule your life and your routines for your health and hygiene and keeping things in order in your daily life. That's hard work, but you are pretty good at that, Capricorn, because your sense of structure will help you with that a lot. Okay, so some kind of new beginning in any of those, and perhaps especially, your routines for life and your health, but also the sixth house is so important. It seems like a very practical, ordinary life kind of house, but how you give service in the world in practical ways is one of the most important, purposeful endeavors for a human being. And so I think the sixth house, it's seen as quite a difficult house, and it can bring illness and problems, but to give service in the world in practical, earthbound ways is really, I do think, one of the most important things of being a human in our bodies that we're in. So there could be some new beginning in your work, in the daily service that you give, some new tasks to do, a new colleague that comes along. Whatever it is, I recommend that you do some talking and chatting and connect. If there's somebody new along, talk to them. Just invite them along. Just Ask them how the weather is, because Gemini, it's okay to have the small talk. Okay. And Capricorn, sometimes just, it can be harder for you guys to talk, maybe, to be light-hearted and jokey at times. I'm sorry if I'm making a really bad generalization there, but Gemini encourages chat and small talk and jokes and banter. And as you've got Gemini in the sixth house, I imagine that maybe you can quite enjoy that kind of thing at your work. So I hope that you enjoy that with the new moon, and there could be a fresh start there. I did want to say something else, and then I got carried away. I'm going to pause while I think about it. Yes, this is what it was. If you are starting some kind of new project at work, or starting a new routine or system of organization at home, talk to people about it, talk to others, communicate your thoughts, get their ideas on it. They might have some good ideas about how to make it work better. Be curious about what they think. So, all the best for that, Capricorn, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Aquarius Rising, on the 14th or 15th of June, there is a new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini, and that is in your fifth house, Aquarius. This is a lovely place to be having a new moon, because it's the house of fun and creativity and romance and play, and also children. It is a house of joy, the joyful hearts. And Aquarius, you are an air sign just like Gemini. You also love to be curious and explore and new ideas and learn. And you're good at talking and you're sociable, just like Gemini. So get out there and do it. Connect with others and enjoy playfulness. Be creative in your Aquarian, unique, inventive way. All right. So with the new moon and the fresh energy, there, you could be starting a new hobby or a new creative project with one of your hobbies. There could be a fresh start for your children, or a new connection with children, or a new dating partner, or a new phase of romance. Perhaps you realize you've got a crush on someone, and it feels good to have that. It feels good to have opportunities and somebody that's livening you up. And use the Gemini energy to talk to them. Use the Gemini energy to talk to anybody around. Talk about your creative project and get others' ideas. Ask what they think. Talk to your kids or to children that are part of your life. Get their ideas, because Gemini loves to explore and get ideas from all around. Enjoy that curiosity. So, what have I written there? A fresh start in creative projects, your love life. Start a creative project, a performance or hobby, because the fifth house can be about performance because it's self expression. Playfulness and fun are good. A new chapter with children or creative pursuits. So, all the best for that, Aquarius, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Pisces Rising, on the 14th or 15th of June, there's a new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini, and Pisces for you, for me as well. I'm Pisces Rising and Pisces Moon. Gemini is our fourth house of our home, our family, our roots, our family of origin, our ancestry, and our emotional foundation, how we are, what we come from, our roots. Okay, so some new fresh beginning is coming to our home, and that could be to do with the people that you live with, the domestic arrangements that you have in that home that you're in, or it could be something to do with your family of origin, perhaps a new way of connecting with your family of origin. Whatever it is, be talking to people. Talk to people, chat to people. It can be light-hearted, but ask them what they think. Ask for their ideas. And perhaps from that, you can set up a really strong new domestic arrangement, or a really strong and workable plan for connecting with your family. Okay? It also could be a new beginning for some kind of project that you're doing in your home. So, like a new, and it could be something to do with working from home or just a new project that you're doing in your home. And it's kind of private away from the world. And there could be even some emotional attachment to that where you feel quite emotionally attached, but it might not be. It might be just something that's just learning something, studying something at home. So, what have I written there? A fresh start at home, new plans, new conversations, family discussions, new domestic arrangements, home based study or working from home that could begin, and set intentions. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. Set intentions around where you want to live and how you want to live, and maybe who you want to be living with, what kind of house, what kind of home, and maybe what kind of connection you want to have going forward with your family of origin. Pisces, I'm going to ask you because I'm Pisces as well, and so Gemini falls in my fourth house as it does for you. And I do come from a home where there were books everywhere, there were lots of chat and connecting and learning and curiosity and learning about the world, and we would always be talking about something that we learnt and sharing that, and our parents encouraged us to be curious and to learn. And also, my father was a teacher, and so there was that in the home as well. So you could write something in the comments about how Gemini and that energy of Gemini affected you growing up, because that is your family of origin and your home. Okay? So all the best for that, Pisces, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Aries rising on the 14th or 15th of June, there is a new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini, and this falls in your third house, Aries. This is your house of communication, your social media, connecting with your neighborhood and community, and also connecting with your siblings and your neighbors. All right, so some new beginning. It could be developing a new hand skill, it could be some new connection with a school. Gemini is all about this in Aries, because you are the first zodiac sign, then this is your third house as well. So you can be thinking about all these things to do with Gemini, some kind of fresh start in how you think, how you speak, how you connect with others, and new ideas, and a great opportunity to talk to others and get their thoughts and ideas. All right. So the third house is about also learning. So there could be some connection with schools or with a local course, and there could be new beginnings with travel as well, because the third house is also about, with its local connecting, it's also about traveling around your neighborhood. Maybe you get a bike, or maybe you start biking to work. All right. So, what have I said here? Communication, local travel, siblings, and neighbors. So, things to do with your brothers and sisters. Maybe there's a new beginning there as well. A fresh start in how you think, speak, and connect, new ideas. Plans can take shape, and it's a good idea to talk about your plans with others and to write them down. Short trips could occur, like could be traveling to different places than you usually do, but they are still quite local places, maybe to the next town. Not too far away, not far, far distant, but there could be other trips coming up. New conversations, courses that could begin, and it could be a good time to reach out to a sibling or a neighbor. So it's a busy house, lots going on, and many different small new beginnings could come out of this new moon. So all the best for that, Aries, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you are Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Taurus Rising, on the 14th or 15th of June, there's a new moon at 24 degrees of Gemini, and that is your second house, Taurus, of money and income and the things that you value in a material sense, your possessions, and on a deeper level, your sense of self-worth. So there's some kind of new beginning for your money. maybe a new cycle starting for your finances. It could be a good opportunity to review your income, and there could even be a new source of income that comes from the new moon, okay? Or a new way that you're spending money. All right. It's a good idea to talk to people about money and finances and even your sense of self-worth. Be talking about that, or even talking about your priorities for how you spend your money. What are your values? What's your value system? And to make you decide what to spend the money. Do you spend your money on healthy food? Or do you spend your money on joining a gym for more exercise? Sometimes you have to choose between. So, what are your values? What do you put higher? And talking to people, writing down your thoughts, journaling, because Gemini is about communication and it's about writing and speaking. So, all of that could help you get your thoughts in order. So, what have I written there? A new financial cycle, review your income and your spending, review your spending, new ideas about earning or managing money. And so, from the review, the new ideas could come and you can take steps towards them with the new moon energy once you see the new crescent moon in the sky, or any time during the next lunar month, but especially while the moon is waxing. What do you truly value? And set intentions around your worth and what you think is worth more or less with your priorities. And you might want to research or pitch or plan a new income stream. So, all the best for that, Taurus, and please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. So there we go, everyone. Enjoy the banter, enjoy the chat and the jokes and the wit and the learning and curiosity that the energy of Gemini can bring. The sun is there for a whole month, and the new moon is a significant time during that Gemini season. So have a good week and a good new moon, and I will be back in another video.